You ready? Yeah.
Daniel has been in and out of prison for the last 30 years of his life. While in the Maryland House of Corrections, he found out about the Maryland Reentry Partnership and saw it as a way of helping him break the cycle of recidivism.
Like I said, I come home with the intent of not going back, but then not being able to get employment, and then you become depressed, stressed out, and then you go back to your old habitat and the old things that you know well.
The Maryland Reentry Partnership is a public-private partnership made up of several agencies that work together to provide a network of support for returning prisoners. Key partners include the Enterprise Foundation, the Maryland Department of Corrections, the Mayor's Office of Criminal Justice, Parole and Probation, the Baltimore Police Department, and local community development corporations. The initiative targets 3 communities that will receive about 60% of the 13,000 offenders being released into Baltimore City this year. The program begins in prison and includes an exit orientation.
Transition is inevitable. Everybody is sitting on the side of the room facing me. The transition happens. You getting out of here. You know, that's inevitable. Transition with change is a choice.
Here in the state of Maryland, I believe our recidivism rate is around 50% or so, meaning that most of the people who walk out of our prisons, they go back. The question is why? So we wanted to try something new. Of course, there are lots of folks who come out and they're under state-imposed supervision, but the agents can do but so much. And a lot of these guys, they're in and out of prison. It's sort of a revolving door. If we could put something in place in their communities to assist them with not just their reentry from prison back into the community, but a reintegration into their community, into their families in a positive way, then we're banking that they'll be less likely to commit more crimes.
Upon release, reentry participants are connected with services, including substance abuse treatment, housing, health services, and vocational and educational training. In addition to traditional supervision provided by the Department of Parole and Probation, community-based case managers and advocates are assigned and work closely with clients to extend the reach of supervision and to aid in their reintegration.
We're part of law enforcement, in effect, so I think the trust level is different with the community advocate and with the community case manager, and that really helps the agent in areas where they can't reach somebody. You know, if an offender fails to report for a few appointments, the case manager can just, the agent can pick up the phone and call the case manager and say, you know, can you help me find this person?
I pick the guys up from the gate when they're released, take them home, or if they're going to transitional housing, I'll take them there. But in the process, I find out, you know, what exactly do they need. And if they need like an ID, things we take for granted, you know, that's my job to get it for them. Social Security card, birth certificate, take them to the clinic, take them to the doctors, or a lot of times they just need somebody to talk to ride around and talk with, and that'd be me.
I'm a recovering addict. I'm also an ex-offender. So I understand the challenges that someone faces in transitioning from not only inside of the walls to outside of the walls, but from inside of that prison up here to the freedom that we can receive once we can replace that old misinformation, not only misinformation, but missed information.
Tyrell Williams is 22 years old and has already spent 3 years of his life locked up. Through his involvement and commitment to the Maryland Reentry Partnership, he is working toward his GED and is in a floor technician training program.
I sat around and heard what they was talking about, and I like what they was talking about the roadblocks that you gotta face when you go out there and know how to, when the temptation hits you, when you step on the bricks, when you step on the real ground. You know, there's a lot of temptations that hit you, and if you don't pick up on it and, you know, see where your place at, you'll be lost.
These guys are resources, man. They're some intelligent individuals. And if we can just challenge that intelligence and use their intelligence to be part of a rebuilding, revitalizing part of this community, then the possibilities are enormous.
The division benefits because if we're able to link these guys to services, then that's less folks who are coming back into prison. The Division of Parole and Probation benefits because their agents have astronomical caseloads, and if an agent can work with the case manager in the community, that case manager 9 times out of 10 has more contact on a day-to-day basis with the clients and can report to the agent and share. The client, of course, benefits because he's getting access to services that he may not have had an opportunity to access, and he's also getting support that he may not have necessarily had.
First part of our mission is, of course, public safety. You know, we have to keep inmates confined where they can't do any harm. We have to do that in, a humane and dignified way. We have to provide prisons that are safe, for our staff and employees to work in. But the second part, an equally important part of our mission, is to prepare inmates to go back home. I can do my part inside the fence, and I can do my part to develop the cooperation and do all the things we can to make this flow and make it easy and make it painless. But without that handoff, without people in the community doing their part and being involved, then the process just won't work.
I think people are beginning to understand in a different light, in part because of the budget crisis. We have to figure out better ways than just building more prisons because we don't have the money to do that. But also when it comes to public safety, ironically, you can promote public safety by changing the way you punish criminals. And I think even many crime victims organizations around the country are starting to understand the connection, especially as it relates to nonviolent offenses.
To lead our last panel, Crafting Solutions for San Francisco, is Linda Connolly. Linda has been a long-time advocate for prison reform and reentry. She, for many years, ran an agency known as Milestones here in San Francisco, and now is the executive director of LCA. Linda?
Thank you, Jeff.